Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be talking about day trading with fractal price patterns. So fractal price patterns really are it's a similar pattern which basically repeats itself on any time frame that you look at. And these can really be powerful types of signals. A lot of different trading strategies are going to use this sort of idea where it doesn't really matter, what time frame you look at. You'll be able to see the same pattern over and over and over again. Now, some examples of just an intraday version of a fractal would be, let's say, a double top or a double bottom, just a pattern that repeats itself pretty frequently. So what I've got is I've got my anchor chart here and my entry chart behind it. And what we're going to do is I'll just go through a couple of the examples so you can see what I'm talking about. So first we'll start on the 21 JJ bar, which is just the anchor chart. It's a little more zoomed out. It's a bigger look at the markets. And just because you're zoomed out a little more, that doesn't mean that the patterns still don't show up. So as an example, we've got Symmetry right here. And Symmetry is essentially just looking A to B is going to be equal to, if you copy that line, drag it down to the swing or the pullback, should be equal to C to D, which in this case came almost to the tick. The point at which this was the highest is 50, and it moved to 54. So that symmetry gave you a huge heads up in terms of what was happening. So when we saw this push higher, and we started rejecting, we weren't making lower lows anymore, we started basically reversing in price, that pullback back into the area where you could be looking for a wave pattern in here, you could be looking for a lot of different patterns in here. Let's just say a wave pattern, and you got long inside the trigger zone here, and we bought it up. Well, now you know that to the top side, yeah, you can place a lot of different types of targets, but to the upside, you know that it's going to have a really hard time getting past that symmetry top up here. So the target should be somewhere around that area. You shouldn't be expecting it to go much further than that because we know that it's going to have a hard time past that area. So that's symmetry on the anchor chart, but are you able to see those patterns on a faster time frame? Well, definitely, of course. On a faster time frame like this, we've got an 8 JJ bar, and it's a little bit faster. We can see this pattern show up in a lot of different ways, but it looks pretty much the same every time. In this example, we stop making higher highs and we break to a new low. And on that pullback that we see here into, again, whether it's a trigger zone trade or you're waiting for the reversal bar setup or whatever pattern you're looking for, when you get into that trade, you know that it's going to have a hard time getting past that A to B equals C to D. And it's going to have a hard time getting past that area. And you can see the D point down here would have been right here where it got all chopped up and bounced right back up again. So that's going to be taking a look at symmetry. It's a really common pattern. You can see it on entry charts, anchor charts, really any chart that you will ever look at in your life, you'll be able to find symmetry on there. Now another one is going to be reversal bars. And reversal bars are pretty common in terms of the way that we trade. That's a big part of how we look to get into trades. And reversal bars come in a lot of different variations, but you're going to see it on every chart you could ever think of to look as far as School of Trade charts go. So looking right here, if we zoom in a little bit, we have a reversal bar that fires off right in a perfect area that we're looking to buy already. And this is basically a scalping pattern. So we go higher, get a nice pullback right into an area that we're looking to buy already, get a reversal bar that fires off, triggers us in long, and we can look to take our profits right back up to the highs again. So reversal bars on a long time frame, even though this is a 21 JJ bar, it's a really big time frame, as you can see, because from the beginning of this day to the end of the day, there's maybe 10, 20 candles. But in terms of reversal bars, that's it's a beautiful setup, and you see those setups all day, regardless of whether or not it's an anchor chart, or if we zoom over to the entry chart, the 8 will go back a little bit here, and we see another perfect example of a reversal bar. We get a nice push down. We get that pullback, doesn't quite go high enough. When we get the pullback into the zone that we're looking to sell, then we get the reversal bar that fires off, triggers us in short. Did take a little bit of heat on that one in this case, but eventually came right back down because our stop is going to go above that point, just as a protective stop. And as market falls right back down, reaches the lows one more time and even breaks to new fresh lows again. So reversal bars, regardless of the time frame you're looking on, is a fractal that you'll be able to trade off of on an anchor chart, on an entry chart, on a yearly chart. It doesn't matter. It'll still work. Then the last example is going to be just a double top, your stereotypical double top pattern. So what we'll do is we'll go back on the anchor chart and we'll look for a double top that fired off actually yesterday. So with the double tops, looking at the 21 JJ bar now, we get these new highs, and you can see the symmetry pattern before here. We get this new high up, come back down off of these highs right here, and when we attempt to go back up, we start reaching our double top zone and we get a reversal bar that pushes us right back down again. And that double top area right here was the entire resistance area really of the end of the day. Since then, we actually haven't even come back to test it. This is today's price action, and we've fallen off from those highs quite a bit further, all the way down 200 ticks. So a really, really strong rejection on the double top. Now, this is a 21 JJ bar, so it's a bigger time frame, but you can still see these on the entry charts as well. So let's go back to the same area. Coincidentally, it happened in the same place. This box right here is the double top zone on the 21 JJ bar, but now we're inside the 8 JJ bar, and what do we see in here? We see the exact same thing, just on a faster time frame. We get another double top pattern that sets up inside of the already existing double top pattern. So you have a double top inside a double top. That adds a huge amount of resistance in that area. And again, we saw what happened on the 21, but it immediately gets shocked right back down again and falls off pretty hard. So that's going to be trading with fractals for price patterns. If you have any questions about it, you can send an email to School of Trade. Be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. Have a good one.